so let's see. Mike been watching and learning. Davion looking at Tesla. Yeah, so we're definitely going to talk about Tesla. But here we go, guys. We come into the session down about 2%. And as it sits here heading into the final hour, we find ourselves up over 1%. So good notes for everybody to take today. Again, like we talked about this morning, guys, you got to stay off Twitter. You got to stay off CNBC. You got to stay away from opinions. Focus on the things inside the market that actually matter, right? And as far as today, guys, we know we had some weakness to end last week. And we know this morning, right, we're gapping down here about 2%. The little checklist that we put together, guys, was keeping an eye on the volatility index and keeping an eye on $ADD. So the first thing we want to look at here, guys, is VIX. VIX is our volatility index, right? Guys, this is basically the oh shit index, right? The fear index, the panic index. And what we discussed this morning is that when the market pulls back, you're going to get, guys, very brief, very temporary spurts of volatility. The key is does that volatility quickly leave the market and fade off? Or does the volatility continue, right? Here's coronavirus. No question, shit was hitting the fan. But on these pullbacks, right? Keep in mind, guys, the market has been very strong. We've been in a beautiful trend. So when we get these pullbacks, it's very normal, guys, to get a couple of days of a spike in volatility. But the key is, does the volatility quickly fade off, right? Does the little bit of fear, the little bit of panic associated with the initial drop, does it quickly leave the market? And what tends to take place, guys, is that we get the pullbacks in the market. And then when VIX disappears, the market continues that trend. So you guys remember from this morning, right? We're breaking down the current trend here in the market, looking at that 21 period EMA. Right? You can get rid of the 8. So again, guys, what someone's saying on Twitter doesn't matter, CNBC. We got to focus on the shit that actually matters here. So what do we know? We know that in the course of a strong market, we should expect many pullbacks, guys, to the 21 EMA. Right? That's known as the reversion to the mean. So we make a nice pump forward, and then we got to take a breather. The buyers come in, the trend continues. We go further, we got to take a breather. The buyers come in, trend continues, pulled back to the 21. Keep in mind, guys, we had been running for a good 3 weeks, almost a month here, right? We came to the 21 on May 14th, and then we came back on June 11th. So let's call it a month. We basically went a month here as that daily squeeze fired without our normal, healthy reversion to the mean, right? Without getting that clean, healthy pullback. Everything looked so extreme last week because we got that pullback in one day. Keep in mind, team, right? Amazon's making all-time highs. Apple was making all-time highs. Tesla was making all-time highs. Microsoft, the list goes on and on. We got that retracement. We got the healthy move to the 21 in one session. So everything looked incredibly ugly, guys. Then we try to make a move back above there on Friday. Not so much. And then it looks like the pain is coming here this morning as we're set the gap down a good 2%. But this brings us back to volatility. On each of these pullbacks, guys, right? The first pullback here, mid-April, end of April, so on and so on. During those pullbacks, we got those expected spikes in volatility. The key, right? And again, news, opinion, it's irrelevant. The key, guys, is that volatility quickly faded. And as it quickly faded, the market continued its uptrend. We pulled back. We got the expected spike in volatility. Volatility quickly faded. The trend continues over and over again. That's what we wanted to focus on coming into this morning. We know we're gapping down. We know we got sold off hard on Thursday and Friday. Does this volatility continue to loom above our heads? Or does the volatility index quickly fade, guys? Basically telling us that at the moment, there's really not that much panic or fear behind this drop. Right? Everybody's looking for this. And unfortunately, guys, you got to understand the combination of things that took place to cause the market to dump like this. It wasn't just the coronavirus. It was the big money of the market being on such big margin, right? If you guys don't understand that, you can check that out later. But the magnitude of this drop, guys, was a combination of the coronavirus news added with the big money in the market basically getting caught with their pants down. Riding this crazy bull market with ridiculous leverage. They had to sell everything, guys, to meet those margin requirements. That's why nothing was going up, right? The quote unquote safe havens, gold, TLT, they were getting freaking tossed around there. And Gil, you're never interrupting, bro, if it's about Tesla. Good shit. Good shit. We'll be right back to Tesla in a second. That's a beauty, though. Right. So back to volatility, guys. Forget the news. Forget all that shit. When we came into today's session, we wanted to look at volatility. We knew if the index continued to spike, that we want to be a little bit patient considering things to the upside. We knew that if volatility quickly faded back down, we saw a good chance, guys, of buyers coming into this dip, right? To me, this is my favorite buy the freaking dip indicator. We don't want to buy the dip, guys, when volatility is spiking through the roof. Otherwise, right, you're getting your account basically blown buying that dip, right? And buying that dip and buying that dip. So we find ourselves, guys, here, 45 minutes left in the session, and right from the get-go this morning, right? If you were looking for a bounce, if you focused on these things, guys, it was clear as day, the early momentum. Right from the open, volatility is quickly leaving the market, right? An aggressive sell-off, just nonstop, lower, lower, and lower. That's our first heads up that, hold on, wait a minute, right? The news is saying this, Twitter is saying that. However, there's not much panic right now, right? That's what the VIX is telling us, guys. Fear, panic. Holy shit, let's get the hell out of these stocks. The fade told us quite the opposite. The other thing I wanted you guys to focus on was $ADD. And for those of you guys unfamiliar, $ADD, the ad, it measures, guys, stocks going up versus stocks going down. So when ADD is going up, when ADD is gaining value, all that means is that across the board, more stocks in the market are gaining value. And again, guys, this is a game of supply and demand. More stocks gaining value means there's more buying taking place. When ADD is down, right, and you can look at the gap this morning. When ADD is down, that tells us the opposite, that across the board, more stocks are losing value than gaining value, and that's a result of more selling. So remember, guys, it really is that simple. If you're looking for a bounce, you need buyers to come in. Our first indication that there might have been a chance of buyers coming in today was the immediate fade in the volatility index right from the open, right? All the panic, all the fear quickly disappears, right? Think of it like a big dark cloud. Market opens up. All of a sudden, the sky's getting a little bit clearer. That was our first indication, guys. And then again, what creates a bounce? Buying, more buying than selling. What does ADD measure? Stocks going up versus stocks going down, AKA buying versus selling. And what does ADD, guys, do this morning? Right from the open. Higher, higher, consolidate. Higher, 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 consolidate. Higher, higher, consolidate. Higher, higher, right? You get the lunchtime rewind. Higher, consolidate. Use this checklist, guys, every single day, especially for you intraday traders, right? This is what Chandler focuses on and teaches in the TDG. You're looking for a bounce on Apple? Forget what's happening over here on the Apple chart. Focus on those market internals first. The immediate dump in VIX tells us, wait a minute, maybe there's not this much panic, right? Regardless of what CNBC and Twitter might say, VIX is fading. And then we see, guys, immediately, more stocks are gaining value than losing value. That's the recipe for a bounce, guys. Not what's going on in your chart, but what's going on behind the scenes. Because remember, all that these goofy charts are is a representation. It's just a picture, guys, of the buying and the selling. If you're looking for a bounce, you need more buying than selling. Rather than focusing on a chart, get your confirmation, guys, from $ADD and from the volatility index. So for future reference, keep this in mind. That's the recipe for a bounce. Huge pump in ADD, big dump in the volatility index. So that's one thing, guys, I wanted to cover there. And then we've discussed the 21 EMA. So I know you guys are itching to talk about some stocks here, so we'll make this real quick. And guys, it's very simple, right? When we're trading above the 21 EMA, we can be in a nice uptrend, and the uptrend continues to the extent that on the retracements, on the reversion to the mean, the buyers come in, right? Completely normal pullback, completely normal pullback, completely normal pullback. What we do want to be careful of, right? And this is why we came into today with patience, guys. Sometimes we break below the 21 EMA, and we kind of just dick around for a little bit. We get right back above, the trend continues. Obviously, this is an incredibly extreme example, but sometimes we dump under the 21 EMA and we go into a bear trend rather, right? That's an extreme example, right? But nonetheless, guys, things can get, let's use the word ugly. Underneath the 21 EMA, things can get ugly. That could be an ugly ass sell-off. It could be a sell-off followed by some ugly chop. Nonetheless, when we're dropping below the 21 EMA, the market, guys, is at a potential risk of a shift of momentum to the downside, where all of a sudden, instead of us trading above the moving average and playing the pullbacks, we're under the moving average and the reversion to the mean takes place to the upside, right? And then we make another leg down, back to the mean, back and forth. So I'll be honest with y'all, I didn't think we were going to get back above it today, but it's looking like we got a good shot here at closing above the 21. My advice, guys, is be cautious, right? Be cautious. If you have long positions, just be open-minded to the idea that potentially, right, they're pulling everybody in here today and we could roll over again tomorrow, right? I'm not saying I think that's what's going to happen, but I do want you guys to keep in mind that is the potential, right? You can go find a couple other examples, right? We kind of break under the 21, right? We kind of try to get back above and then back below. So if you're just accepting that potential risk, then you're going to be in good shape, guys. But nonetheless, very impressive day for the market. Above average buying volume coming in. We're back above the 21 EMA. And then the big textbook moving average, guys, that we're working out with here today is the 200. The 200 period simple moving average, right? Everybody's favorite moving average, blowing through it like it wasn't even there. So it is going to be incredibly interesting, guys, to see what takes place here after hours. Here's my thoughts. If we can hold up after hours, right, and then coming into tomorrow, we can continue to hold and trade above this 21, and volatility keeps fading, then we can look for even more long positions, right? There's no reason, guys, forget what the news is saying. There's no reason that the trend can't continue here. So that's kind of like a ground rule for us for the remainder of the week, right? We're taking positions first, making sure that we're still above the 21, right? We don't want to get roped in here. So we're going to have that as a foundation, guys. We can consider upside moves as long as we're holding above that 21. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, we go back under. We got to pump the brakes a little bit. So that's a scoop on the market, guys. Give me 1 second here. Alrighty, guys. So that's the recipe for a beautiful bounce, VIX and ADD, right? We talked about the 21 EMA and the importance of that. And now, guys, on this bounce here, right, the question is, who's leading the way? Right? Are there any particular stocks, are there any particular sectors that are getting just a little bit more love than the rest here today? So we can kind of go through the sector ETFs. Now, remember, they all started the day pretty damn ugly. The energy sector was down 4.5% at one point today, guys, up to the tune of 1% now. So, right, really impressive. Buyers, sure as hell, came back over here into energy, or you got shorts covering. The financial sector started the day incredibly ugly. Beautiful bounce here, up 1.5%, back above the 21. The industrial sector, XLI, was getting creamed earlier. Big move back above the 21. IYT, the transportation sector, was getting creamed earlier. Big move back above the 21. Technology, which is XLK, never went below the 21. Right? Never even went below it up about 1% here today, guys. And then we look at SMH, the semiconductor sector. Beautiful trend down to the 21. We're making a pretty good move there, guys. So in my opinion, we're seeing kind of a market-wide bounce here, right? If the tech stocks were green and the semi names were green, but, financials were still getting sold off and energy was still getting sold off, a little bit different, guys. But given the fact that basically every sector has made a really good looking bounce back here today, it tells us a lot about the overall market. And then we can look at the individual stocks, right? Apple, guys, this trend hasn't been broken, right? Never even came down to the 21. So you got to put this recent market drop in its perspective, all the while knowing that anything can change overnight, right? But Facebook down to the 21, holding up. Buyers coming in here today. Big Bezos, right? Never even comes down to that 21. So things are looking good here, guys. Things are looking really good. Shop is up almost 7.5% here today. I know a lot of you guys are banging over here in this Twillo. Beautiful, right? Gotta check this setup. Beautiful daily squeeze. Beautiful 4-hour squeeze. The hourly squeeze is already fired, as has the 30-minute squeeze. So Twillo here, guys, right? We know we got the big time frame daily squeeze, and we got the 4-hour, but then we go a little bit under the surface, right? And that 30-minute chart is releasing all that energy, right? And the hourly chart is releasing all of that energy. You can definitely see that continue, work its way up here to the daily chart this week, and see the squeeze potentially fire, guys. Of course, if the market is supportive of that. The SPY gets sold off, down goes Twillo most likely. What else, right? We had ZM, all-time high here today. That was another observation we made. In the midst of the gap down, right from the very open, guys, we saw big money really willing to buy a couple of names, right? Big money was quickly buying Zoom. Big money was quickly buying Shop, Twillo. And then our man George came across Coop here. Right? Beautiful, guys. So look at Coop, daily squeeze, getting love right from the very open. Not only do we have a daily squeeze, we go to the 4-hour, and we have a 4-hour squeeze that is firing to the upside. We go to the hourly. We have an hourly squeeze that is already fired off. So kind of like a volcano, if you look at it that way. Underneath the surface, everything's rumbling, energy's getting all released. And now the question is, guys, is it enough to get that real big release of energy here as we go into the daily squeeze? So for those of you guys that jumped into that this morning, beautiful looking setup. Beautiful looking setup. And then Gil, absolutely, man. AMD, beautiful daily squeeze, guys. Here's the thing. Focus on these squeezes right now. Reason being, if the market absolutely gets its teeth kicked in, right, and we just freaking dump, guess which way this daily squeeze is going in AMD? Right? To the downside. Easy trade. If the market right back to the bull trend, right, we're right back to business, everything's good, that daily squeeze probably going to fire to the upside. So I love that setup, Gil. And I think we got NVIDIA too, right? Yup. Got an NVIDIA daily squeeze there as well, guys. So beautiful setups here. And here's the thing. If we can hold up, if the trend can continue, then we'll be able to take advantage of it, guys. So let's take a look at NOW. Right, beautiful setup. The daily squeeze is getting tighter. Let's see if we got any underlying time frames. Right, kind of got a 4-hour there. Right, not quite an hourly squeeze, but you know, guys, with all these bigger picture squeezes, whether it's NOW, right? Whether it's Coop, which is basically trying to fire off here today, whether it's AMD, NVIDIA, just follow the big money of the market. The bull trend continues, guys. We go back to ripping, follow those squeezes higher. If the market gets rejected and gets dumped, follow those squeezes lower, and y'all will be in good shape. So those are some daily squeezes, guys. The semi names look beautiful here today. And then we've got Tesla. So Tesla here, guys, we got a bunch of news. So let me take y'all, let's go to If you guys who weren't here earlier, I posted this video of John Carter. You definitely want to give that one a shot, guys. Definitely give that video a watch. But if we go to Twitter here, guys, and we go find our news plug, Tesla's got some stuff cracking here today. So let's get this coming in. And we're going to go over here, and we're going to go to Walter Bloomberg. And let's go find this. Let's go find this. Looks like he might not be talking about it. All right, let's see, guys. All right, guys, Austin, Texas, considering Tesla incentive deals. You know, you guys can kind of go do the due diligence and the reading on this later. If you choose, right, a little bit of news behind it never hurts. But huge day here today, guys. So, you know, take note of these things. Again, the social media, right? The CNBC guys, after last Friday's drop, everyone's screaming, you know, we're going back to the lows. Everyone's looking for another Corona drop. Take a note of what's actually happening here today, though. Buying the snots out of Tesla, right? The thing's up 6%, right? They're buying the crap out of NVIDIA, right? They're buying AMD, right? Every sector across the board is green after being down 3, 4, 5% this morning. The question is now, guys, does this trend continue? Right? A one-day bounce is awesome, but all it is a giant trap if this picture doesn't continue. So as we roll into the close here, can be very interested to see if we can close above the 21 EMA, and then more importantly, guys, in the futures. Do we gap below it? Do we gap above it? Do we open up flat? You know, where we open up tomorrow, it's going to be really, really interesting. Oh, no, you're good, brother. We can take a look at COUP again. C-O-U-P. Let's get these Bollinger Bands up here. And you got the daily squeeze, right? Not technically firing yet. You got all-time highs up there at 238.19, you know, a couple bucks away. But what I do like about this one is just, you know, all the lower time frame squeezes are already exploding, right? 30-minute squeeze exploding there today. The hourly squeeze exploding here today. The 4-hour squeeze starting to fire off. So underneath the surface of this daily squeeze, all the energy that's getting built up is starting to get released. Just the question is, guys, can the market support it? Meaning, can the market simply hold up? And does this continue tomorrow? So obviously the key level of resistance at this point would be 328.20. Or I'm sorry, 238.20, which is that previous all-time high there, guys. So this has been a really good setup over the last couple of weeks. A daily squeeze underneath the previous all-time high. Right? Many of you guys caught Microsoft. Daily squeeze underneath the previous all-time high. You got that huge 2-day rip there. So that is COUP. And then take a look at CRM here. So Salesforce, good looking daily squeeze. Just kind of getting ready there. Not quite a 4-hour squeeze. Let's see the hourly. You got an hourly squeeze that's firing to the upside. And then you see you got a 30-minute and not quite a 30-minute. So with Salesforce there, you still got the good looking daily squeeze. And, you know, just like AMD, just like, you know, COUP, just like NOW, really going to be contingent on the overall market. Market continues to pump higher. Probabilities lean towards those squeezes firing long as well. So we're coming down a little bit, guys, off the high of the day here. And at this point, let's get that 21 up here. Looks like we're going to be awfully close. We're basically just hanging out at that right now. You know, so where we open tomorrow, guys, that's going to be really interesting. But we can come into tomorrow with the same foundation. Look at the volatility index. Is it spiking out of nowhere, or is it fading even more? Right? Look at ADD. Are they pumping it? Are they dumping it? Those things, guys, they don't lie. Yeah, Danny, Microsoft is not a bad looking setup at all here. And, you know, guys, a lot of these names just kind of got sold off, came down to the 21, and you know, there's some buying coming in today above the 21. Right? You break below, the buyers come in. You break below, buyers come in. You bounce. Looking at that. Take a look at Siri. Absolutely. All right, another one, right? A lot of the setups today, guys, are somewhat similar. Everything was blown with the market. Everything coming in hard, right down to that 21. So do you got a position in Siri, brother? Looking to get one. So here's what can make this a really low risk, potentially good reward trade. All right, first things first, let's go back to that 21. Yep, you already know what I'm thinking, man. So the first thing you got here, right, is that we're trading near and getting bought near kind of a big picture, you know, daily level of support. So to keep things simple for us, let's just call it 593. Why not, right? 590, 593. So you know the big level of support here, right? Yeah, you can use, oh, you got 6 on the 21. Let's see. Do I got my 21? What platform are you on, man? Thinkorswim, that's interesting. Yeah, so mine's popping up right here around 592. Nonetheless, though, right? You know, this thing, what are you referring to? Okay, all right, yeah, good. We're on the same page then. All right, we're on the same page. Right, you came up here to 6 today. So here's what I do like. You're getting brought up today right near, you know, the mean, right near kind of that key level of daily support. Now you're telling me that on the lower time frames, as we're hanging above that key level of daily support, right? And that's kind of the kicker here. As we're hanging above that key level of daily support, right? So we're seeing the same thing here, man, right? It's consolidating, it's building up energy right near that big, you know, kind of moving average in the daily chart. So here's what I actually like about this, right? Not that this is a name I ever trade, but nonetheless, the setup itself, you're building up energy right now at the moving average, right? And this is how a stock typically works, guys. The stock's doing one of two things. It's making its move away from the 21, or it's at the 21, getting ready for that next move. Again, get rid of that 8. Right. Pretty much one of the two things a stock is doing, right? It's moving away from the mean, or it's chilling out at the mean, getting ready for its next move away from it. So you've got the mean right here, and you've got that hourly squeeze. That hourly squeeze, man, is going to give you a really good opportunity to potentially catch, you know, whatever that next move would be. So if the next move here for Siri is a move to the upside away from the 21, you can look to play that hourly squeeze long. If the next move here for Siri, right, because it's chilling out with the moving average, getting ready, if the next move is a move away from the 21 to the downside, you can play that hourly squeeze there as well. So I would keep an eye on that one. Right? You know we're building up energy, and you know on the daily chart we're hanging out at a level where that's what the stock's doing. It's getting ready for its next move away from the 21, whether it's to the upside, whether it's to the downside. Yeah, definitely patience on this one. You know, what I would, if I was going to personally trade this one, it's a tough call, right? Because we just, you know, yeah, and the market's kind of coming down here. So, you know, given the fact that we're kind of drifting below the 21, I would be patient. You know, with any luck, we get a directional move tomorrow. Siri is still inside of that squeeze, and then you can go attack that, brother. But I think, you know, the overnight risk of trying to pick a direction, you know, might be a little bit difficult. So, but you are correct, though. I really prefer to get them inside the squeeze. So, guys, we're getting sold off here a bit into the close. Now we got to go see how the big boys are holding up. Apple coming in a bit. Facebook, all right, not that bad. Amazon, not that bad. Nvidia, right? Compared to the bounces, guys, kind of just modestly coming in a bit here, right? Big Tesla, doing what big Tesla does. So, and of course, guys, it's just the truth. It kind of is the overnight risk here. Right? Do you take the coin flip that, the trend's going to continue and we're trying to get back above the 21, and then you wake up to a gap down tomorrow, right? Or do you take the coin flip of trying to buy puts tonight, right? Assuming we're going to gap down, and then we just gap up tomorrow. So, my advice would be, guys, if you've got open positions and they've got some cushion to them, hold them overnight. As far as, putting on new positions here in the final 30, I think our best bet is to wait to see how tomorrow shapes out, see how the futures go. And then we can show up, guys. You can sleep good tonight with peace of mind and be ready to attack this, either which way. So the green dots on the squeeze mean that the squeeze has officially fired to the upside. It's the light blue bars that will tell you there's an increase in buying pressure. So let's pull up Tesla, because Tesla's always a good example, just because it squeezes all the time. And a new all-time high for Tesla will be pretty cool this week. All right, let's find the Tesla hourly squeeze here. Bingo, right? Red dots tell us that we're in a squeeze, right? So here's how I mentally picture this, guys. When I see the red dots, I picture the stock, right? When you go in the pool and you take a volleyball or something, you push it under the water, right? All that energy is getting built up. And as soon as you release, right? As soon as you let go of the ball, it just comes shooting right up. So, in this hourly squeeze, that's the way I visualize it, right? Tesla's being pinned down underwater right now. All the energy is getting built up. And we know at some point that energy is going to get released. The green dots tell you that the squeeze has officially fired, right? Meaning that the energy has been released. And then these light blue bars, guys, right? They just tell you in which direction it's firing, right? Light blue, we're firing to the upside, right? Momentum's to the upside. When the bars turn to dark blue, it means that we're running out of momentum, right? It's a good time to take profits. And then to the downside, guys, it's the opposite, right? Red shows us that we're gaining momentum to the downside. Yellow tells us we're starting to lose that downward momentum. Yeah, we do got Trump talking later. That's the other thing there, guys. So Jerome Powell did a good job of pumping the market today. We'll see if Trump can take the baton and do the very same. To me, I like to see that, right? So Coop is kind of a good example. We go to the daily chart here, right? And that's the big mover, right? That daily squeeze, once that can fire, that's going to be the big mover. And again, all that's happening, right, is that energy is being built up underneath the surface right now. So then when we can identify in the lower time frames, right, that all the built up energy is getting released, right? The 4-hour chart, releasing energy here. Right, the hourly chart, big time move, right? The 30-minute chart, right? Big time move. To me, it's kind of like a volcano, right? We're looking for the eruption right here on the daily chart, and then those lower time frame squeezes, that tells us that underneath the surface, things are heating up, things are bubbling, things are brewing, and we could see that big time move. And do I think tech sector will be up tomorrow? My man, I wish I knew. I wish I knew. We shall see. We shall see. Right? What I can tell you is that if the market goes up, then technology will 99% chance be up as well. And then if the market's getting sold down, same deal there, guys. So very interesting day, guys, on Wall Street, right? And again, kind of come over here. I want to pay attention to the news tonight. So we come home. There we go. A couple of things you guys can check out on Twitter. One of them being First Squawk, right? For some real-time news. U.S. President Trump says, okay. U.S. President Trump says telehealth, blah, blah, blah. Trump says we'll have a news conference tomorrow, Tuesday, with late enforcement representatives. I think that might have been the typo. Might have been law enforcement. U.S. President Trump says we'll sign executive order on police reform Tuesday. So things to pay attention to, guys. But again, we can kind of, to some extent, tune that out and just come here tomorrow, guys, with the same focus. Right? Is volatility spiking? Is volatility dumping? Is ADD pumping? Is ADD dumping? And right, once we once we open the futures tonight, where are we in relation to that 21? So patience, guys. Right? We don't want to get too giddy here. And if you took some positions early this morning, right, there's a good chance if you're going to hold them, you got some decent profit cushion, you're a little bit more protected overnight. Maybe you give up some of your profit, maybe you give up all your profit, maybe you take a small dent. But as far, guys, as jumping into calls or puts right now, right, in my opinion, that would be a bit of a coin flip here. We just don't know. We just don't know. We'll find out in the morning. But one more look across the board, guys, and then I'm going to get out of here and head over to my parents' house. Apple is holding up just fine. Right. Amazon holding up just fine. So these tech names having a good day here. Facebook. All right. Google, a lot of action taking place, guys, near these 21s. NVIDIA, nice day. AMD, right, nice day here. Big Elon with a big time day. So I'm really, really excited for tomorrow, guys. But, hopefully you guys kind of saw the value in focusing on those market internals here this morning. If you were looking to come into the day and say short everything, right? If you came into the day, guys, and you got this bias, I'm going to short the bounce. You could have saved yourself, right? By looking at ADD. You don't really want to short a market where more stocks are getting bought than sold. So that was kind of the first indication that maybe trying to short isn't the best idea here, right? They're quickly coming in. And then, guys, we had volatility, right? The oh shit index. Right? That dark cloud quickly disappears right from the very open, right? The skies get clear, a little bit safer to come out and play. So tomorrow, guys, same exact foundation. We'll see where we open. We'll see if we're gapping up, down, sideways, left, right, and then we'll put together a game plan, and then we'll go from there. But good work today, guys. It sounds like a handful of you, took some Tesla there. I know a couple of you guys were in this coop here earlier. Awesome job. I know some of y'all were hitting Twillo, which is coming out here strong to finish. So awesome work today, guys. I'm excited for tomorrow. Rest up tonight, and I'll see y'all in the morning. Love y'all. Good job, BV. George, thank you for your help this morning. George and Danny, really appreciate you guys this morning. And Tesla being Tesla. Take it easy, guys. I'll talk to y'all in the morning. Sebastian, I've got you, brother. Say no more. I'll post that right there for you in the chat, man. Green Day, good job, buddy. All right, let's go right down here. Bing, bang, boom. Sebastian, I'm happy to hear it, brother. Happy to have you with us. So there you go, my man. There's a spreadsheet, guys. I'll tag everyone just in case everybody doesn't have it. And there you go, guys. So 15 minutes left here. Let's take one more peek at Big Mama. And Big Mama trying to put up a little fight here. So every day, guys, you want to take some value from the market, right? Take something that can make us a little bit better. So hopefully for you guys who aren't too familiar with looking at VIX and ADD, you got a good lesson there today, guys. These market internals, they can kind of tell us the truth that's going on behind the scenes versus, again, just all the opinions getting tossed around. So at least in my opinion, guys, the market gave us an awesome lesson today in what to look for if you're looking for a bounce. If you get an immediate fade in volatility, if you get an immediate pump in $ADD, You got a better chance of getting that bounce. Mr. George, if you're still here, can you remind me the ticker for ADD on Interactive Brokers? Because I know a handful of these guys got IB. Let's see, is George, you still here? Big George? I think we lost him, guys. We lost him, so I'll ask him in the chat. But all right, fam, I'm going to Mama's for dinner. Love y'all. Talk to y'all in the morning. Be safe tonight. And I did record this, so keep an eye on the chat room and the members area tonight for the replay.